Okay, guys, how are you? And this is our second day of the seminar, FIDE International Organizers Seminar. Today's lecture is not specifically about chess, but it's in general about organizing sports events, how to plan to reach that day of start. First, we need to specify or define what is planning. Planning, is the process of thinking. It is called sometimes the mental time travel. That means we need to travel to reach some point, and to travel you need a vehicle. You need a good vehicle. You need to know the road, how to reach, and easiest and the best way. So for planning, we have 2 points always. To plan, you need first to know where you are located. Where are you located now? There's 3 points: where we are located now, where we want to reach at the end, and the road in between. So these are the 3 main stages in planning. So starting first with where we are, how to know where we are. In planning, you don't start with the current point. You start the way around, vice versa. You start from the end. But when you execute, you start from this point, from where you are. But when we plan, we start from where we want to reach. So it's the other way around. That's the right way to plan. Hold on a second, please. So to know where we want to reach, there is many tools for thinking, tools for planning, tools for analysis. To know where we want to reach, that means the goals. What are our goals? If we want to organize a tournament, a seminar, or whatever, any sports event, a conference, a workshop, what are our goals? Yes, there is an ultimate goal, but there are like subdivisions, smaller goals. Why do we want to organize that tournament? So yes, we have the goal of organizing the tournament, but why do we want to organize it? Is it to improve, for example, tourism in our city? Is it to improve the level of the players? Is it just to make the youth active, to attract them, for example, from drugs or from whatever, from anything like that? So there are many goals that you can set before organizing a tournament or before organizing any sports event. Things should be clear from the beginning. It should be put in writing. Any plan or any project which you don't put it in writing, it will fail. You cannot even evaluate it later on. You cannot have any emergency plans. Any project, if you are a project manager, you need an emergency plan. So if you don't have all the goals clear from the beginning, you cannot put that emergency plan. It would be just like random work. And this is not good, of course, for the success of any plans or projects. So we set the road between the 2 points, between where we are now and where we want to reach. This road, we call it the gap between our current situation and the future condition. This gap, we fill it with what is called gap analysis. Gap analysis, also we'll talk about this. And now we want to start with what is our location now. What is our condition currently? That means we need to collect information. Collecting information is an essential point in planning. It is the first thing to be done by questionnaires, by forms, by brainstorming. And always try to, when you start by brainstorming. You know, just a storm. It looks like a random thing, but you can have a view of, you can collect all the ideas, make a brainstorm of ideas with yourself or with your friends and colleagues, and bring all the information related to your project. You put it all together. It doesn't, you don't need necessarily to organize it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the beginning. No, it doesn't start like that. It doesn't work like that. Even the mind in nature doesn't work like that. Maybe some people know about Tony Buzan, who has the mind maps, the British scholar. Maybe he speaks a lot about the method of thinking. So it starts unorganized in the beginning. So don't worry if you think that there are a lot of ideas in your mind, they are not organized. Don't panic. You need to write everything down, and then later on we come to how to organize our ideas. To start with the questions are categorized into 5 or 6 questions. They call them the 5 W's and H. 5 W's are who, why, where, what, when, and the H is the question starts with how. How starts with H. This is the 6th question. Now these questions, or these 5 W's and H, are just like highlights about how to ask the questions regarding the situation. When we collect the information for the process of planning, first I want to inform you that in management there's something called the functions of management. There are 7 functions of management. They are organized in the word postcor. It is P, O, S, D, C, O, R, and B. These 7 are, they start with planning, P, planning, O, organizing, S, staffing. Staffing is related to the human resources side. D, directing. CO is cooperating or coordinating. Sorry, coordinating. R is reporting in the process of management. And the last one is B. B is budgeting. There are many styles of management. Some people, and the successful ones, are the ones who concentrate on P, planning. It's the first one. And usually, and I think the people who fail always, they are the ones who start with the last letter, B, budgeting. The people who form their plans around money. Some people, they can't even think of any plan. They can't have any vision unless they find money in their hand. So they try to build their plan around money, around the financial resources which they have. And I think this is a failure to any plan. And I remember a few years ago, maybe in 2008, I think, or 9, FIDI gave an award to Turkish Federation and Indian Federation for 2 different types of management for chess in their countries. India, who succeeded without money. Turkey succeeded with money. So there were 2 different experiments here, and I concentrate on the Indian one because they made it from scratch. From nothing, they made something. It doesn't mean that Turkey was wrong, but what I mean that most of the people, they lack the financial resources. Most of the people, most of the organizers, so they try to think, how can we get sponsorship for the tournament? So this also needs a plan. You see, now we start asking the questions. Things start like that. We start asking questions, and they should be written down. That there are sponsors here. We need finance. How to reach? We start asking questions like, who are these sponsors? for the organization. Where can we find them? What do they want? The sponsor, of course, they need something. We need money from the sponsor, but what does the sponsor needs from us? Why could he be involved in financing our tournament or our sports event? The edge, for example, the question of the edge, how can we reach him? How can we convince him? How can we sign an agreement with the sponsor? So you have to put all of these questions, all of these things before putting the plan for your project or your tournament or the sports event. Now, for example, I said regarding the questions, we have to ask ourselves who are the targeted audience before planning any event, any sports event. There are targeted audience. Target audience in chess are totally different than the target audience in football in the core and the psychology of it. For example, in chess, we need satisfaction is needed for the player. It's the most important thing, the player's satisfaction. But in football, no. In football, the fans are the ones who should be happy and satisfied. The fans, not the players. In football, you put a shield over the fans, but you don't put that over the players. Even the referee is not the referee in football is not so keen about the happiness of players. He doesn't care. He can easily give a yellow or red card, but in chess, no, it's totally different. In chess, you can tell the fans to go out. You can never do that in football. In football, you tell the player to go out. So these little differences you need to know when you plan for the event, to understand how am I going to satisfy which audience. Because for each audience, I have a lot of questions to answer. For the chess fans, when I want to organize a chess event, what do I want to do for the fans? There are not a lot of things, for example, but for the players, you need to prepare the chairs, the lights, the food, the distance between the toilets and the venue of play. So there are many things that you have to take care in chess more than the other sports, or maybe other sports needs different criteria. And now I want to speak about when we talk about where we are located now. It means that what resources, not only financial but human resources, that we have. We don't. It's wrong to start. It's wrong to start by building a team just because of your likes and dislikes, or just from the small database that you have in your mind about your friends who can be part of the team. It doesn't go like that. Some people, they start planning by just writing, this is the team responsible for catering, food and drinks. This team is responsible for the security of players and fans, and they put the names of their friends. And they start like that, and then they start finding where are these people. Let us call them and tell them to come around. But no, it starts by tasks. After you make your analysis about the situation, then you start with assigning tasks before selecting the people. You say that we need, for example, we need the health insurance, for example, for the players. We need the drinks, hot drinks, because we are in winter. We want a lot of hot drinks for the players, and that when you put everything, then after that we make the teams, not the names, but the task itself. You have a database of abilities, not a database of people in the beginning. You should have something like that, And then you know that this group of people, they fit into IT. This group of people, they are fit into publishing the material later on in the media. But do we need a lot of media in this tournament? No, we don't need hundreds of questions that you have to do when you sit with yourself before speaking to anyone, before going to speak to sponsors, before going to speak to federation or players or the media to convince anyone. Sit with yourself, for sufficient time and start talking to yourself. Start asking these questions in the morning. Start to write down to go to the next step. So team building is around the tasks, not about people. It's not around people. So this is an important point when we build the team. So back again, when we for planning is always based on analysis, even in chess. We don't just have a look at a position in front of us and just we say, okay, my plan is to attack the queen side, or my plan is to control the d5 square, for example, or to launch an attack on the king side. No, it doesn't come like that. Planning is based on analysis. So before we start planning, we have to finish the process of analysis. And what do we analyze? What we analyze is information. So the first stage again is collecting the information which should be analyzed. So we bring all the information. You have an information center. You have an information or information gathering team. For example, the idea, we will assume that the idea started from you. You are the core here. You want to organize something. You are the first person who started. So you are the center. Then the next thing that you bring close people to you to bring the information. This is the first thing. To bring all the possible information which they have. Encourage them to bring information, not to bring a plan. So let us all bring the information. Let us have the meeting of brainstorming. Let us organize all of this information, and then let us analyze it. The simplest way of analysis, the tool which is called the SWOT analysis. SWOT, which is analyzing the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So for each project, of course, I have strength, which is like strong points, which I have in my hand. I have to write that down separately, and then I have to mention my weaknesses. What opportunities do I have? And the threats for this tournament, the threats for the players, the threats for not finding, for example, any sponsors, just for example. We have to put each one of these 4 categories separately, and this will make the vision clear when we work. It's called the SWOT analysis. All of these terms which I say, you can search on them in Google, and you can find many information about them. So we finish the analysis of the situation. Then this is called describing the current situation. Describing the current situation, that means then I know where am I located. How much resources do I have? How much human resources do I have? Even the human resources, I analyze their weaknesses, because sometimes before building the team, okay, I have like 20 people to work with me in 5 teams or 4 teams. I should know the weaknesses of each of them. I should know the strengths of each of them to know which one to be the leader of each of these sub-teams, to know if I need like small courses to give to my teams, or should I bring some information from the media from the internet, for example, for these teams to improve their level, or on how to organize a few things for the tournament, because I need to improve my teams before doing the job. So I give them these tasks of improving themselves on this side, and then I work on the other side on a parallel route for reaching the stage of a perfect tournament or a perfect event. So when I finish this first stage, I go to the analysis here. the gap analysis. There are many things that I have to study here when I collect the information. For example, there is something that we all miss, it's the legal affairs. Because if you want to organize something, there are many people of interest. I can put them under the targeted audience. For example, the governmental or local authorities, the sportsmen, the media people in the city or the village or the country, the competitors also, because when you work, it's not always, it's always war. Whoever do something, there are always competitors and people who don't want you to succeed, whatever you do. Just like if you want even to marry, you'll find other people who want the same lady. If you want to make a tournament, you'll find other people who want a different tournament. So there are always people who will work against you. There are always this is nature. This is natural. So you don't have to nag about it, but you have to think about it as part of the plan. When you put the plan to do something, you have to understand that there are things and there are people who will always work against you. Even in governmental level, you will find some people who are with you and some people are against you. This should never stop us from and plan. This is life, that there are always people who will be opposing and against you. It is how to make it soft as much as we can to reach the target which we are looking for. So some of the things that we have to discuss also: the venue, the media, the community resistance. Sometimes communities resist what you want to do because you are making change. When you make a tournament, for example, you are going to make an agreement with some restaurant, for example, for the food, or even if you don't make any agreement, if you have a tournament, for example, in part A of your city, for sure, people of part B, the restaurants in part B will not be happy, for sure, because a lot of people will be concentrating on this side of the city. So this is natural. Always you have things like that. So you have to think, how can we deal with it? We have also volunteers. Using volunteers is a good thing in the villages or cities because, for example, if you're tournament in the area A in the city, try to bring volunteers from area B, for example. They will be happy to work with you here, and they will do their job to defend you and defend your tournament. For example, this is just a sample, just to show you have many techniques that you can use to make things work. There is the security issue, the health issue. This is something very important because any health problem that happens inside any tournament, it means failure, total failure, because the media, all of the media will forget everything and just concentrate about health issues which happened to people. I remember in the successful Olympiad in Chennai, in India, just a few months ago, maybe one guy had a problem. Maybe I don't remember. Was it coughing or was he just coughing? Or anyway, he went to the hospital, and everyone forgot about the round and the results. That day, I remember many groups and the media, they were just speaking about that person and how they were thinking about this issue and what happened. So you have to, when you study these things beforehand, you can put a good emergency plan. This is important. When you have your plan, you need another 2 plans with it. You need plan A is your main plan, but you need plan B plus the emergency plan. The emergency plan should always be hidden secretly. Don't show your emergency plans. You can show plan B. You can show plan B to your people, but always hide the emergency plan, because the emergency plan is the plan which protects you. It's the final line to protect you. So don't show it. Show plan B to show people, to make people trust that you know what you are doing. Also regarding the plans, the teams, don't make, for example, the people for the emergency plan, they should be totally different than people of plan B. They should not be the same people. You have to have the emergency plans. For example, what if 50% of players don't come for any reason? What if there is a storm or any weather condition that prevents, suddenly happened to prevent people from coming? You should have this secret solution hidden somewhere. What if there is an electricity outage, just like what happened to our friend Victor Corin in Zimbabwe yesterday? He couldn't attend all of the seminar, of the lecture. So what is plan B for that? It doesn't need emergency plan for this. Maybe you need plan B for it. So you have to have your own note, to have each different group, each different team of yours in a different node. Few seconds and we continue. Okay, so in our process of thinking, we need to set goals. We need to set goals after we know what we have and what we want to reach. These goals, they have some scientific measures to differentiate them from dreams. We don't need dreams in working. Maybe you need a dream just to feel happy and optimistic, but don't base your life on dreams, but goals. So dreams are just like a long vision. Maybe we can reach them or no. Dreams could be fulfilled, maybe not. Maybe a country can reach its dream when all the government is alive and the nation is alive, and maybe not, maybe the next generation. But for you as a person, no, we need goals. For these goals, the people describe them in 5 letters. SMART. They call it SMART goals. SMART goals are SMART. SMART S is specific. The goal should be specific in each stage of our planning. We have to put specific goals. For example, there is nothing called I want to make a big tournament. There's nothing called a big tournament. We have to mention we need a tournament of 100 players or 300 players. But why do we put this goal? Why can we say it's 100 players and 300 players or 500 players? This depends in the first stage, which we said when we collect the information about where we are located now. Do we have the resources to organize a tournament of 100 players? Maybe we have, and we don't know. But when we start writing, when you know your people, your friends, the companies which you know, the sponsors which you can reach, the players around, and how can they reach your country or your city? Do they have money to reach or no? Do you have enough arbiters and organizers, qualified ones? When you ask this question previously, you could have a vision about can I organize a tournament of 100? Maybe you thought that you can organize a tournament of 10 people only or 20, but when you start writing down everything where you are located now, then you discover that your ability is much bigger than what you thought. So there should be the SMART specific goals. When you answer the questions, the hundreds of questions which you asked yourself, you have to specify for each thing. The next one is M, measurable. Things should be measurable. For example, I need to produce. Don't say I want to organize tournaments this year to produce masters for my city or my club. No, you have to make it measurable. Exactly how many, and based on what? How many FMs or how many 2200 rated players do you want to produce, and when? Should be time bound. The last letter is T, SMART, time bound. You should always make your goals within a time boundary. When do I want, with the question with W, when do I want to organize it? When do I want them to 200 rated pairs. When do I want to convince the government to sponsor me? This is also one of the important points. And A is achievable. Achievable goals, SMA. Achievable goals means don't put goals which are unrealistic. The goals should be realistic, achievable, achievable within your limits. Don't say that if you are a part of a federation or a club, don't just for no reason say that in my cycle, in this 4-year cycle, I want to have 2 grandmasters and 2 women grandmasters in my club. It doesn't come like that. If you don't, maybe you can. Maybe you already have an IMs, so that's why you want to have a GM. But if you don't have an IM and you have an FM, don't make your goal to have a GM in this plan, in the specific plan. But maybe for a vision, yes, could be. So it depends on each person. And R is relevant. All the goals should be relevant to the event which you are organizing. Don't put goals which has nothing to do with it. For example, maybe you need to promote tourism, but if your village has any sightseeing, or your city has nothing, no place for people to visit, then don't put in your goals that you want to promote tourism in your area. This has any meaning, and you can never achieve it. So find different reasons or different goals for you. The last one is T, is time bound. So I think Mr. Ilya wants to say something.
Hello. I just want to ask General, after the, let's say, the certification or this norm, how you call for international organizer, there are some specific type of tournaments which we should organize in the start, right? We cannot just start organizing tournaments, right?
Okay, what I understand from your question, although it belongs to a different lecture, but I will tell you.
Why I'm asking this, I'm just planning in the future one very interesting format of tournament which we were organizing in Norway, which general has to do with the time limit, that like if someone has not so much time to play a tournament, there is a format of Friday, Saturday, Sunday tournament, where Friday we play 3 rapid games, and then on Saturday 2 standard games, and Sunday 2 standard games, and you take points from the rapid tournament, and then in the end you have 7-round tournament, which satisfy a lot of people. And also, if someone cannot play the rapid on Friday, can have half point for each round, so can start with 1.5 point already from Saturday. So that's why I'm planning to organize these kind of tournaments in Georgia, and I don't know if let's say if it's legal or not to start to organize after the certificate,
Okay, I understand. Okay, but there are two parts in your question. The first one regarding the certificate. First, you will have a norm for the title. Okay, this is the first norm regarding according to FIDE regulations, the Events Commission. There are 3 conditions to get the title. The first one is to pass this type of seminars. This is the first norm. The second norm is having 2 languages, at least 2 of the 7th language or 8th languages of FIDE. So you are from
need to prove, sorry? Or about languages need to prove, or just can say that I can speak?
It needs proof, but because now your first language is not English. You are from Georgia, right?
I speak Georgian, Greek, English, some Russian, and yeah,
you are from Georgia.
Yes,
this is your first language.
Yeah.
So this seminar is in English. So already it's done for you.
I see. I see.
Okay, so this is automatic. So these are two. The third one
Mhm.
is being a member in organizing committees in three titled tournaments. Three
Nice.
titled tournaments, tournaments which there are some regulations for that. For example, having three federations at least, and there are other issues and to be a titled tournament. This to have the IO title. But that doesn't mean that you cannot organize tournaments, to be part of tournaments.
Mhm.
So yes, so we have a different lecture given either by Mr. Castro Abondo or Mr. Mahdi. Tomorrow Mahdi Abdurrahim lecture,
Nice.
and next week is Castro Abondo. They will speak about this, the second part of your question about the type of tournaments.
Yeah.
The
Thank you.
conditions.
Nice. Thank you.
I have a question.
Smitha?
May I? Yeah. The thing is, we just need to be part of an organizing committee of a title tournament to earn the, no, or like we have to be the tournament director.
Can you repeat again, please?
So to get the other norms, do we need to be the tournament director itself for a title tournament, or we just need to be part of the organizing committee?
Yeah, only part of the organizing committee.
Okay, so basically in a tournament, our name should appear somewhere in the organizers list.
In the organizing committee, yes, correct.
Okay, so name also need to appear in the organizers list in.
Yeah, in the organizing
Because-
committee of the title tournament.
Title
So
tournament, because when we give
the organizing committee will send the letter to FIDE, or you just take it from them.
Okay, got it. So it doesn't need to be in the tournament file that we submitted to the FIDE. We can just get a letter from the organizing committee. Does that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, and it is also another information. It is totally different than the arbiters situation, because for arbiters, first you have to take this seminar or the arbiter seminar, I mean, and then after that you should be a part of tournaments to send your arbiters norm. But for organizers, no. Even if you were a part of organizing committee in the past, you can submit it with this norm of this seminar.
Okay, got it. Thanks a lot.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Mr. Naveen or who?
Yeah, Naveen here. Sir, what are the official FIDE recognized languages? And if we have to prove to FIDE that I know this language, should I submit a A1 or A2 or B1 or B2? What level of certificate I should submit to FIDE for approval that I know this language?
Okay, you mean for yourself or in general?
I mean for myself. For example, if I'm submitting to FIDE that I know these two languages.
For yourself, you are from India, right?
Yeah, yes, I'm from India.
Okay, the languages you will find them in the handbook. The ones which I remember now, of course, English, Arabic, German, Spanish, Russian. How many are these?
French. Yes, right.
German, Spanish, English, French, of course, Arabic, and so these are the ones I remember now. So I think there are 7 or 8 languages.
Yes, sir. Sir, like till what level we have to know? Is it okay if we complete an A1 certificate and produce to
No,
FIDE that?
it's just the level that you can deal with the players, just in the simple things.
Okay, so because I have a A1 level certificate of Spanish, I know English very well. So if I'm submitting the norm, so I just have to say that I know Spanish and English. That's enough, right?
Yes, should be.
Okay, perfect, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Because it's not about communicating with in life. I mean, you don't need the language for that. You need it for something specific, just as an arbiter only, or
Yes,
an organizer only.
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you.
I have one more question. Earlier, you mentioned about the SWOT analysis. So when it comes to a tournament, what are the weaknesses that we should keep in mind? Possible weaknesses that we have to keep in mind for a tournament. I understand opportunities and threats, but when it comes to weakness.
Okay, the difference between weakness and threats.
No. I
mean, they call
Not
it
different.
internal.
Okay, but I want to understand when it comes to a tournament, what are the points that we have to consider as a weakness, probable weaknesses?
Yes, that's what I want to tell you. When you differentiate between weakness and threat here, they say that the weakness is related to the internal environment. The threat is related to the external environment. So if you want to apply this inside the tournament, then you try to look for the things you don't think about. For example, if there is any security threat or anything happens from outside, just think about things related to the people involved inside the tournament, the players themselves, for example, or because I don't know what issue exactly you want to speak about, but just do it from internally. Find the things internally, the chairs, the lighting, the venue, especially the venue, because there are specifications for the venue, for the things like that, or the toilets inside them, and the distances between, because there are even measures between for the distance between the playing hall and the playing arena and the toilets, for example. I think if it was not given to you yesterday by Mr. Mahdi, I think tomorrow he will speak about it, about the venue conditions. There are conditions that you have to approve as an organizer before the tournament. You have to have a checklist of many things, because you have to put this right, wrong. Even if FIDE sends a commission, or sorry, a committee to check for the tournament, to accept the offer or the bid of any country, they have a checklist to check many things, and they just go and see, okay, this is correct, this is right, you have to do this and this you cannot do, okay, you have 70% you can do. So you have to do the same thing internally. So after finishing all of the seminar, you will know all of these details.
So where we can find the checklist, is it somewhere readily available?
Okay, this is I think Mr. Abondo next weekend. He will speak about his experience in organizing Manila Olympiad and the Asian, some Asian big tournament. Then he will show you a checklist also. And
Thank you.
Yes, this part of his presentation.
Thank you.
Hello. Three things. One, are you going to talk about how to attract sponsors? Because this has been a problem in organizing. Sometimes now you have to use the guys who are coming, the money to organize the tournament, and that can be quite tricky. So I was thinking maybe if you talk about how to attract sponsors and have examples or a template that we can look at, it will also be good. The other thing is that it's a question about organizing. Can an organizer change certain details once, for example, if someone said it's 6 rounds, has it progressed and then changes the round? Is that what do you call it? Is that correct? Is it right to change the tournament rounds? It happened some.
When? At what point? At what point?
Yeah, there's a time, one case here in Kenya, there's someone who said it's a 5-round blitz tournament. And afterwards, when the game was over, he said he added 1 more round and people really complained. And someone said that it is the organizer's right, you can change. So that was really confusing. I didn't understand why you did say that. That's why now I want to seek answers from you if that is really right. The third thing is that when you talk about titled tournaments in getting norms? Are you talking about rated tournaments or someone has to get a title? Okay, I need clarification on that.
Okay, thank you. I'll start with the last one, the specifications, or sorry, the thing about title tournaments. I think it will be given tomorrow. Okay, this is one. The second thing about changing the number of rounds after starting the tournament. No, you cannot change the number of rounds. You cannot even change the tie break system in Swiss Manager, for example, after you start. Just what you announced, you stick to it. Otherwise, it means that you want some specific person to be the champion or to have a prize, maybe to share it with him. Okay. The first question is about sponsors and how to attract them, I think. Okay, you need to understand the psychology of sponsors and companies inside your country or the area where you are located, because the sponsors are totally different in nature. Some sponsors they try to, for example, they have something called the social responsibility budget. So they need to pay certain amount of money for the community. It's just because this is their responsibility. So in some countries it is compulsory. The government put it as like an obligatory condition on some companies to pay, for example, 2% of its annual budget to social communities, whether it be in sports or any type of social activities. So first of all, you have to know the legal things in your country, to know if these companies are forced by their government or no to pay this 1% or 2%. So this is one thing. The other thing, if there is nothing like that, because this will make it easier for you. The government made it to make it easier for the community. But imagine that there is nothing like that in your country. That means you have to know the likes and dislikes of companies, first of all. You have to study their past experiences with sports. You have to find in the media, check the other sports with more fans, or even check sports which are not related to football. Check, like, for example, billiard or table tennis or any sports. Try to check the advertisements, which companies you saw there. Try to approach them, because maybe you find the management board or the manager is he likes this type of sports, for example. The more important thing is how to attract them. How to attract them is by offering them before taking from them. So sit with yourself, think, what am I going to offer to this company? What do companies need? For example, they need media. They need coverage, a lot of coverage, maybe internal, maybe broad. Some of them, they like it on TV. Some of them, they prefer the social media. So it depends. The manager or the management board of one company, maybe they are classic people and they prefer to see the advertisements on newspapers. They are so happy if you convince them that their advertisements will be on each news every day, in every newspaper in the city. Others are maybe so modernized and they don't care about newspaper. They want to see how many people are they going to be approached on Facebook, for example. So you have to show them what are you going to offer them first. How many times are you going to mention the name of the company every day in the media? Show them that there will be a fixed logo, for example, behind. There is a famous player. You are inviting a famous player to the tournament, and there are many expected that many journalists will approach this player or some chess figure in your tournament. So tell them that for each for each coverage, there will be on the background, there will be something like the little house on the background of yours, just for example. So always think, what are you going to offer them before you approach them, before you ask them, give me, show them what you will give.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to add something, because I don't want to go a lot into that, because this is the planning course is a long one, by the way. I just wanted to give some hints. It has a lot of aspects. It's a long course, by the way. Itself is a long course. For me, I give it in like 40 hours, by the way. So 40 hours, not minutes. So I just gave just a quick one. So I lean on your input for any questions. If Mr. Mohammed Osman wants to add something as well, Mr. Mohammed Osmani has some inputs in this field.
Hi, Obay, how are you?
Hi, Mr. Mohammed Osman in Turkey now, from Sudan, but in Turkey. Hi.
Yes, I'm in Turkey now. Thank you for this
The voice, please.
presentation. A voice. I think my my earbud is not functioning well, but how to stop it, I don't know. Okay. If it's hearable now?
Yes,
No?
yes, sure.
Okay, good. I just asked about the title, about the norms for the IO title, and you said that it's a title to have 3 titled to be in an organization committee for 3 titled tournaments, and I'm just astonished that you cannot do in organizing local ones, because titled, that means there are many titled players and so it's a little bit complicated than rated ones. So for this I think the it will be so difficult to gain these norms. I don't know.
Well, I think it's easier to get it than arbiters. I think so, because for arbiters there is a number. Like, for example, sometimes some tournaments give you only 1 norm or 2 norms only, or the maximum, for example, most of them. But for organizers, I think even if it is for title tournaments only, but there is a possibility for a bigger number of people to be given these norms. It needs some cooperation between people. For example, if here we are one circle of organizers, so people can invite each other for each in each countries to be part of the organizing committees. I mean, this is just like an idea. Or let us think also, I think maybe this could be discussed. How can we as a group give more chances to us, to each other? I think this could be discussed. If not here, if anyone has no input here, maybe even in the WhatsApp group, people can think about it. How can we increase the opportunities for each other?
Okay, Obay.
Before that, one query.
I can't hear you, Mr.
Yes, I was asking. I'm sorry about my speakers. Let me fix
okay.
this, and then I'll be back.
Okay. That's great.
Okay. It is controlled by a certain number of organizers in order to get the norm. Just like us in for arbiters, for example, there is 1 arbiter beside the chief arbiter with 50 players. 400, there are 3, and so on. If it is controlled by certain number or no, For example, we have 10, 20 of people are in the organizing committee. Can we say something like this?
No, I did not see something like this. Honestly, I did not. Nothing like that past time.
Okay. Okay.
But surely the number is not open. Surely it's something reasonable. If you send something reasonable, they will accept it.
Sure.
To be part of an organizing committee, do we need to be physically present? Because currently I'm in India and imagine a tournament is happening in Spain. And I am being part of the organizing committee because we are getting into the calls, making decisions, planning something, doing a lot of things together. Then in that case, I'm still physically, I'm in India, but still part of an organizing committee. In that case, am I eligible to have a norm from the title tournament?
Yeah, I think this is a good question, and I need to direct it to Events Commission to ask them about it, because new things are happening now in life. So the regulations, maybe they need also some update, maybe. So I will ask about this, and I will answer you. I will forward the answer in the WhatsApp group for everyone.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys? Anything else? Anyone wants to add something?
Yes, may I ask something? I'm Mama from Myanmar. Can you hear me?
Mr. Monk?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
want to know.
there is some noise. There is some noise. I think you are using some type of microphone.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
With a little noise.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
I want to know how we can plan without thinking about the budget.
Actually, he wanted to know how to plan without thinking about the budget.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Thank you.
Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. First of all, if you have no budget, then you have to put your plan. Don't just be. Don't go back. Don't go back and say, okay, I will wait for money. If you wait for money, it may never come. Think in two parallel routes. The first one is have a plan about how to get money. Make a plan for that, but don't make it like the main thing. Put a plan how to get sponsors, just like the questions which was asked a few minutes ago. How to encourage people or even players to support you financially regarding that. But the main other thing, don't wait for this route, but work with the human resources. The human resources can do a lot of things with much little money, a lot of things, because otherwise you would not see poor people or poor countries became so advanced in sports or in chess. If it is about money, we could have seen the richest countries in the world become the best countries in sports, and that's not true. Or they'll be the champions only will be the rich people, and that's not true. And I think India is giving a sample in that. I mean, I visited Chennai in India. Not now. I visited like 15 years ago, just for some work, and I visited like 20, maybe 20 academies to see their, how do they work. I remember in one of the academies in India, in Chennai, or Madras, the new name. Some of the players and even the coach, they didn't have money even to come to the academy. I remember some players came with bare feet, so they didn't even have slippers. So I was always thinking about that. So, but at the same time, they had a young boy who was an FM, and maybe now he's an IM or GM, I don't know. So look how many masters in India. They are not rich. It doesn't mean that they are all rich. So they should give us. I mean, they should give us power to improve. You have to be creative also, and trust in the human resources, not in the financial resources.
Thank you.
Okay. You have as you know, in some villages, if you check in the internet, you will find many people in the villages. They made some initiatives to for chess, even within refugees camps. I saw many things like that, many projects in the refugees communities. So without money, just with little things, they did it. You know, even in some poor places, you will find no boards, no chess boards, and people, they just draw the sticks on the floor, on the ground, sorry, and they play. So if the person wants to do something, he can do it.
I see. Thank you.
Okay, and some people, they get attracted, some financiers, they get attracted when they see, even the governments, when they see poor people or people with they have lack in money, and they made something, and they are so encouraged to do to make a change in the community. Trust me, some people will reach you. Just make it reach the media, and you will find start to work. You start to work in poor communities. In your area, find the poorest people and try to do something with them. You will find their requirements are simple. Their requirements are not like the big tournaments. So start with these people. It is good work, social, even personal social responsibility towards your community. And I'm sure you will find some organizations, some NGOs, some enthusiastic journalists, or some people who would like to cover your project, and you will find people who will support. I'm pretty sure. So you have two benefits: the benefit of giving something to people, and the benefit of attracting sponsors as well.
So I would like to add one more thing here, like how to attract funds. So when you target some corporate companies, they have something called CSR funds, corporate social responsibility funds, which they allocate every year to the public. So they have to spend it on the public. Maybe it can be in any numbers. So if you can just target some corporate high level management people who are very much into chess or who are very keen on chess, so then you can tap the money which they have for any level of tournaments. Even it can be a local level, or if they want to fund for an international level of tournaments. So that's one way you can acquire funds. And there is another way is like you can approach the government saying that, okay, I want to organize a tournament with a proper, what do you say?
Yeah.
With all the proper facilities. So then you have possibilities. The best is that you do your law of averages every day. Either you approach any corporate, either you approach the government, but you have to keep doing your law of averages by doing it every day. It's not that on the first time or the second time you're going to win, but definitely one day you will, because I've done that and I've achieved somewhere by acquiring funds for some tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you know, first, yes, also before approaching the government, you have to do something by yourself. Show them that you did. Otherwise, they will expect all of the nation coming to them, and that's abnormal. They cannot handle that. So show them that you are a person who always try his best, and who is using even the little resources, little financial resources. He has good management of little money. That's how you attract even the government to support you. And for the companies, approach them and tell them, okay, I want to work with you. I don't want any money from you. I would just be like a facilitator. Consider me one of your teams or this administration which you talked about. Tell them, consider me part of it. I will work without any salary. I will just do the job in the community, and surely they will help, because you will cost them nothing, and you will be like helping them instead of hiring someone to do these projects of social responsibility. So try to be creative. Just like if you have a position in chess with little resources and you are a knight down or 2 pawns down, but you can still think. You will pay more effort in thinking about how to improve my position, and even not just making drawish, but even sometimes people think of winning even if they are material down. So it's just all in the mind. I think someone is trying to speak, but the voice is not. Anything else?
Oh, yes. We talked about in chess, it's about player satisfaction, and most corporates, they want to be known outside there. They want people to see their brand and their product, and chess somehow is not attracting the number. So how can we make it in a way that majority, even if the players are satisfied, how do you get the public, the community to start looking at this game? Or okay, how can we attract so many players or many audience for chess? And you know, the part of sponsorship, in most cases, it's about can you market my product or my brand to a wide range of people? So that can be a kind of a problem.
Okay, maybe you can listen to the guy's ideas, but about it. But what I want to say, that when you make, for example, an advertisement for a sponsor, it doesn't mean that I want to attract people to play chess. No, I want to attract them to the brand or the products of his company. Now, when you sit in front of TV, you don't just watch things which are related to chess. You watch everything automatically, anything which comes in front of you. So it's just a case, even in chess, if there is a reportage or news, so people look at it, people watch it, and they see, even if they are not interested in chess, but they will have a look, they will see the company's logos, whatever. So that's what he wants. It's not about chess. For him, he doesn't care. The sponsor doesn't care about chess. He doesn't care about even football. Maybe the sponsor hates football. Maybe he disrespects the sports of football. But he works with it from total different angle. He's not a sportsman to like chess. We don't care about his sportsmanship. And about attracting, how to attract more people, I think this is a subject which is discussed in many places, in many forums, either online or offline. I think it depends, just like the target audience. I mean, maybe in some place you can succeed because you can convince the parents that you can attract their children from the drugs field, as I told you. And in some other places, no, they don't care about this, and they think that they need chess for their children to improve their mental abilities. So there is no fixed formula. It always depends on your targeted audience and where do you want to work. So try to understand the people and the psychology of the community which you are targeting, and then you can know from which angle you can, or from which entrance you can approach them. And we can listen, even if anyone wants to add something about it, we can open this forum. Also, there are thinking about the nature of chess. I think we can be practical in thinking. For example, people who are, for example, physically disabled. I'm pretty sure they will be so happy to practice chess. You know, there are hundreds of millions of physically disabled people in the world. This is a whole big number. So I think trying to work within this community, I think it's okay. Also, there are many communities in the Middle East or the third world. I mean, third world, not the Middle East, where you find women are more into houses. Okay, so it is. Look how many of them, like billions, you can say, billions or hundreds of millions, who are spending most of their time at home. So this is just like you have a gym at home, a mental gym at home. So there are many targeted audiences you can work on them. And if you spread chess or teach it to women or mothers, what else do you need? Because the mothers will be teachers for their sons later on and daughters. So try always to think, and the ideas will come for you. That doesn't need any money.
Okay, yes, Obay. It's correct. It's correct. Really, we can attract people by thinking of the value that you may get from playing chess. For example, to represent the country for an international tournament. For example, for the football, it's almost impossible to be in your 30s or your 40 years old and go and represent your country in football. But in chess, you can be 60, 70 years old and you can practice this. Yes, for disabled people, for the people who have for example, they don't have time to practice sports. You may find a little time to practice chess, 1 or 2 hours every weekend. You may find yourself better. For the children, for the mental abilities, for their education. I know that the chess can enhance the abilities of children. That's something great. But how to link this with attracting the community, attracting the sponsors? This is the question. I don't know, but really there are much of advantages.
Yes, that's great, Mr. Muhammad. You know, I think now from what you said, I think you can even target sponsors who are from these sectors. For example, we can find sponsors who are women, who are disabled. We can attract sponsors who are, for example, into education. Even if he's a manager of a company, but maybe he has a high value for generations education. We can target prisoners, by the way, millions of prisoners around the world, and they are not staying there forever. one day they will get out. So there are many ideas and many places that we can. I'm pretty sure that in any prison they can allow chess, but they cannot allow football at any moment. They can allow chess 24 hours maybe. At least it keeps the prisoners quiet. I think FIDE also has a project with prisoners. FIDE, I think, organized the world teams of prisoners, something like this. I don't remember.
World Prisoners Championship.
Sorry?
World Prisoners Championship. It recently held, and all the prisoners can just play from their own prison in an online.
Yes, they did something like this online twice, by the way. Last year and the year before that, or this year and the previous year. So why don't we approach the Ministry of Interior Affairs in our countries or the police in our villages? Let us approach them and tell them, maybe even the police will be interested in playing chess. So let us tell them, let us try to use chess as a tool of discipline for prisoners in our city or in our village. I don't think they will say no for such an idea. And they have the money, of course. I think even we can make a task for ourselves as a group that each one goes to the local authorities and tell them that we want to teach and organize, or organize first before teaching, organize just like a random tournament for prisoners in the village or the city. Why don't we do that and take photos if are allowed, and let us just make a big report of it. We can try something like this. Why not? It doesn't cost us anything. It's just the transportation bus to reach the police office. So anyone wants to add anything before we leave today? Shall we stop here and continue on WhatsApp?
Sir, before we conclude, can we just bullet in the topics which we discussed today?
Again?
Sir, can we just highlight the topics which we discussed today before we conclude?
Okay. Yeah, I spoke about the definition of planning, how to plan, just like simple things. The gap analysis between where am I now and where do I want to reach. The SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Spoke about the SMART goals, how to set goals to be specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic or relevant, and time bound. Spoke also about plans, plan A, plan B, and not plan C, but the emergency plan. Spoke about building the teams around tasks, setting the tasks, how to set the tasks first before building the teams. This in general, I think.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And also there is a topic people should even look at it, which is the KPIs or evaluation, assessment and evaluation. We did not speak about this. How to, this is after the tournament, because this is part of the planning, to plan for the next event. It's not the assessment and evaluation is part of the planning process, but not for the same event, unless the event is takes a long time and you need to do this every day, just like a long Olympiad, and you need every day to have a team for assessment and evaluation. but it's a quiet process. The evaluation, assessment, and evaluation, which need to be done after each tournament or each event, be it a conference, a seminar, or whatever, to discuss with your teams about each details, what happened, where did we succeed, why did we succeed, to what extent did we succeed, why did we fail, to which extent did we fail, and you have to study all of these things before going to a new one. Also, after finishing sitting with your teams, you have to sit with a total neutral committee, people who were not part of your teams, but people who were like maybe criticizers. You have, after sitting with your people, make a panel of the people who criticized any aspect of your organizing. Sit with them and listen with them. After listening to them, show them the feedback or the report of the assessment and evaluation report of your teams, and ask them again for feedback. So this is how people improve. These things don't need any money or financial requirements. It just needs our minds and our effort of reporting. So the KPIs is the key performance indicators. For each event, you need to have indicators to know. For example, I have an indicator of how many children or how many schools in the city visited my tournament. Okay, I have to put this in the beginning beforehand, before starting. That I need, for example, in this tournament, I need 30% of the governmental or the private schools in our city to visit the tournament, just to bring the children, just to see for 5 minutes and to take photos and leave. For example, this could be one of the goals in the tournament. So I need to have like an indicator which shows how many of these 30% visited my tournament. And then at the end, of course, there are people who will also always report every day about every details. So after the tournament, I count and I compare. Did I succeed or no? I contact these people and I get their feedback. So there are a lot of things to do in each tournament, a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to teach your teams from any event. And this experiment are not only for chess, because these are called transferable skills. You can take them and use them in other things, in other events, in other projects, which are even non-sports. They could be non-sports projects, but these are basics. These are basics of management that you can apply wherever. Okay. So shall we end this session today and meet tomorrow?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I
Thanks a
think
lot.
you're welcome. Okay, so if there is anything or anything that needs to be added, then maybe you can do it on the WhatsApp. There are many notes. I'm remembering, I kept note. I will just put them in the WhatsApp group, especially the question of Smitha about being an organizer in one country and the tournament in another country. And then tomorrow we will meet at 1400 GMT with Mr. Mahdi to continue. All of the materials will be uploaded on YouTube. You will get an automatic notification if you are subscribed to the Tatweer Chess Academy channel. So thank you for now, and let us maybe watch from tomorrow the organizing of the World Cup in Doha, in Qatar. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Bye.
Khafir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
you.
good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.